What's going on, everybody? It is a windy day here in St. Louis, but we're going to get the smoker going and make ourselves a Philly cheesesteak meatloaf. Let's get started. All right, so one of the first things we're going to do for this recipe to get things ready is, so I've got that small yellow onion, my hot pan here, a little bit of oil up in the bottom. You could also use a little bit of butter if you want as well instead. Then I used a little bit of kind of a smaller green bell pepper. So we're gonna go ahead and place that in the pan as well. And then last but not least, I got about a cup of finely chopped up fresh mushrooms. We'll put in here. And we're looking to just saute these just a little bit, get a little bit of brown on them, soften them just a little bit, and then we'll put them in a bowl and take a head outside and get ready to make the rest of this recipe. All right. Got those veggies finished up from in the house, came on outside, got all the rest of our ingredients ready to go as well. So we're gonna start making kind of that beef mixture. So since we're gonna use the smoker, I don't wanna go super lean with the meat. I've got an 80-20 we're gonna use here today. You could go 85-15 as well, but I just wanna make sure I keep some juices in this one since it sits on that smoker a lot longer than it would in that oven in the house with those temperatures a little bit lower. So got myself a bowl here we're gonna start with. Got about 2 pounds of that ground beef. Start with that ground beef. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in those veggies. I'm gonna save just a little bit of those though for topping later on. All right, so most of that went in here with those veggies. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and crack open 2 eggs. Go ahead and put those eggs in there. Oh yeah. Got expensive with 2 eggs right there making this dish already. All right, so also what we're gonna do is I've got myself so you could use breadcrumbs for this. Most people might use like a Panko breadcrumb for their meatloaf. I decided to take some saltine crackers and kind of crush them up nice and fine. We're gonna use that instead. So I'm looking to get about a cup's worth of those in here. I may save a little bit of that for topping as well. All right, and I'm gonna go with about 2 tablespoons of ketchup. You could also go like maybe a spicier ketchup if you want. 1 and 2. And about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. All right, my friends, we got all those ingredients in there. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with just a little bit of fresh cracked pepper, as well as a little bit of kosher salt. Okay, so all of our ingredients are in that pan. I'm gonna use my hands to mix this up today, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some gloves on for this part of the recipe. All right, so I'm gonna get this hand, oh, well, I ripped that glove, that's all right, we'll make it work. All right, so get my hands in there. Things are gonna get a little messy. Still wanna just take my time, kind of just folding things over nice and neatly. I wanna make sure I get those eggs mixed up in here as well. Can start to feel all those ingredients from right between my fingers. I'm going to continue to mix this up, and then we are going to begin to get our pans ready for the smoker. Okay, so you could use a larger loaf pan for this. I'm actually going to go with 2 smaller loaf pans and see if I have enough here to make 2 smaller meatloafs. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a little olive oil spray. You kind of spray those a little bit so those meatloafs don't stick in those pans. All right, got that ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of that mixture. What I'm doing is trying to fill the smaller pan up about halfway. All right, so I got about halfway of the pan filled up. Now I'll take myself some provolone cheese. Now I got this freshly sliced from my local grocery store instead of the stuff that's pre-packaged. And I'm gonna go ahead and put myself basically a layer of that provolone in here. So when you buy yourself a package of that provolone, you really just need about 8 ounces of cheese here. So I got myself a layer in there, and then we'll come back and we're gonna add another layer of that meat across the top here. And actually, I may not have enough meat here and mixture to make 2 big ones, so I might get myself a little mini loaf going in the other pan so I don't waste my ingredients. To be honest, I think I'm going to use it all and round it across the top. That's what we're going to do. I'll throw a glove on here in a second. Look at that, my friends. So don't need a really super large loaf pan after all. I got all that in there. I'm gonna take my glove, put a fresh glove on here, as you guys listen to that dog barking behind us here. Okay, so I'm gonna use my glove for my hand here and basically try to shape it across the top so it has more of a rounded approach to it as well. Okay. All right. I don't need that glove anymore. Take a little bit more of that provolone, taking those slices and ripping them in half here across the top. Take a little bit more of that mixture that I had with those green peppers and onions and mushrooms. That'll melt across the top nicely. And last but not least, I'll grab a little bit of those breadcrumbs. There we go, my friends. So everything's ready to go in our pan. Let's get on the smoker. Got it up to temp to about 250 here on the Weber Smokey Mountain today is what we're looking for. With that lower temp, obviously not as warm as you would cook it in the oven in the house. Usually if you're doing like a meatloaf indoors, you're probably doing about 350. With this lower temp, we're looking to get an internal temp about 160, 165. So in order to get that internal temp, this might take up to 3 hours on the smoker, but we'll keep an eye on it as well. But for now, let's get it on the smoker. Okay, my friends, it appears the meatloaf is ready. Let's go ahead and get it off the smoker and let it cool just for a moment so we can give it a taste test. Our meatloaf is off of that smoker, super juicy, and because it's set in this pan, just cooked in that grease and everything, but definitely hit our temp. Now, I could have come back in like the last few minutes, add some more provolone over top, so look more fresher with that cheese, but I like that golden brown look that we have on there. So I'm gonna slice myself off a little bit off the end here and just give it a taste test. But also know that once it cools, you could take like a warm pan, slice it, and just sear it real quick before you serve it. Maybe make a sandwich out of it as well. So many things you could do with this, but let's go ahead and get ourselves a little bit off of the end here. It just falls apart. Oh, I have a feeling I should have brought myself a fork, but I'm going in with the old claws on this one, all right, friends? All right, woo, nice and warm still. There's cheese melted in there, green peppers. I can see those onions. This came out perfectly. It's not overcooked. It's just super, it almost just melts in your mouth. Absolutely delicious. Can't wait to get this inside and finish it off. Put everything you know around the ingredients and everything else you might want to know in the description of the episode. Remember, hit that subscribe button. We love it when you do that as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys again on Bones and Brews.